The biggest surprise I had coming out of my few hours of playing Halo Infinite's campaign wasn't the delightful exploration nor the incredibly fun gunplay. Instead, it came down to the characters. Halo Infinite sees the legendary Master Chief once again tasked with saving the universe from yet another threat, and after 5 major campaigns, the Chief seems tired. He's a man of few words, but his movements and responses are heavier than I've seen before. This is Chief without Cortana. His subtle yet distinct change is far from a bad thing though. If anything, Master Chief's forlorn demeanor that he sets aside to get the job done is a great indication to me that Halo Infinite's story is intended to be a more impactful adventure.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
What happened? Where is Cortana?
Chief's stern determination is also wonderfully contrasted to his new AI companion's bubbly enthusiasm and his pilot rescuer's anxiety and weariness. Given developer 343 Industries' failure to give Locke the faintest hint of a personality or motive in Halo 5, and the game's generally lackluster story, this was a relief.
No. Not then! Not again! We need to run!
I need a weapon.
Weapon? This is all I've got.
It's enough.
Halo Infinite's contrasting characters aren't the only things to look forward to though. Rewarding exploration infused with Halo's DNA and genuinely challenging combat could be a relief in today's open world game extravaganza, where many worlds are packed to the brim with chores and only a few offer meaningful adventures beyond their main path. If things continue the way I played in my 4-hour hands-on time, I think Halo Infinite could fall into the latter. That's not to say there aren't some essential elements of Halo Infinite I'm curious to see if 343 can pull off, like Chief's storyline with Cortana. For now, what I played in my preview session has left me even more eager for Halo Infinite's December 8th launch.
We can echo 216. Can you hear me? This is UNS.
Time and time again, Master Chief has woken up to fight a new enemy. Halo Infinite largely sees that pulled back by instead focusing on familiar fodder with the Banished from Halo Wars 2. They eagerly step up as Chief's main adversaries after handily defeating the UNSC around Zeta Halo, including Master Chief. Their goal for Zeta Halo is unknown, but if it involves a Halo ring, there's nothing good that can come of it. After the UNSC's loss, Master Chief's main objective becomes freeing the captured Allied forces on Zeta Halo and thwarting whatever the Banished are planning.
I am Echelon, War Chief of the Banished. This is my world now.
Cortana was presented as a mystery rather than as a primary antagonist in what I played. What happened to her after Halo 5 and whether or not she's been truly destroyed is unknown. This crucial conflict seemingly takes a backseat to the larger fight with the Banished, though it is intertwined somehow. Without getting into spoilers, I will say the few moments that dug into Chief and Cortana's relationship were an emotional gut punch. Halo Infinite is looking to deliver a meaningful story for legacy Halo fans, and I really needed to fulfill that promise after Halo 5's story missteps.
She's not the driver, but a way to level the playing field.
What do I call her?
Ask her. She named herself.
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
This all being said, I'm not optimistic that Halo Infinite is going to be a great starting point for new people to the franchise, as the best moments I saw in the first few hours rely on prior knowledge of the series. I don't like the idea of people being left behind, but I selfishly prefer that this game is made for returning Halo fans rather than tuning the story to accommodate new players. Familiar with the story or not though, Halo Infinite sure is fun to play and explore.
I think I'm with you. I didn't even know what a Banished was an hour ago, and even I can see the odds aren't great.
Playing Halo Infinite is a mix of familiar and new. One moment you're navigating encounters and ship corridors, then the next you're driving several Marines around the open fields of Zeta Halo. As 343 has clearly stated, Halo Infinite isn't quite a true open-world game despite it featuring massive sandboxes. Zeta Halo is broken up into island chunks. Land masses can be connected by bridges, and Chief can eventually call in things like a wasp to fly around anywhere after they're unlocked. so eventually we may get to freely explore unlocked areas, but our range will be limited and more focused at first. Zeta Halo is littered with UNSC camps called Forward Operating Bases that were claimed by the Banished after the UNSC lost the big fight. Clearing a base and reclaiming it replaces the Banished with Marines. Even better, cleared bases convert to instant fast travel points and earn you Valor. Worry not. Valor isn't some sort of spendable currency. It's instead a point-based tracker of how much ground the UNSC has on Zeta Halo. The more Valor you have, the better backup and gear you can call in. As far as I could tell, earning Valor and reclaiming the Broken Ring is entirely optional. So what else can you do when you're not hunting down the next clue to the Banished plan? People don't just get to give the Master Chief a fetch quest. The only one who really gives Master Chief any sort of command is a new AI codenamed the Weapon. She's meant to destroy Cortana and is in turn supposed to be destroyed when her operation is complete. Though Cortana is seemingly gone, the Weapon remains and is happy to assist Master Chief until she reaches her eventual demise. Much like Cortana, the Weapon will call out enemy attacks, notable objectives, Banished facilities that need destroying, and Marines in need of rescuing. I was more likely to come across a random patrol of enemies than an actual objective, but it didn't feel like I had to go too far to find something fun to do. I enjoyed the quiet moments though. Following Zeta Halo's native space groundhogs or just enjoying the view was a pleasant reprieve from the action. When I was ready to get back to it though, I could also hunt down and eliminate special targets to collect a unique version of their signature weapon that's equipable at FOBs. And of course, there are plenty of collectibles. A new scanner tool does make them a bit easier to find, if you have an idea of where to look. The scanner's range is rather limited though, so it's not a free pass to finding secrets. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Grunt and Marine dialogue. They're hilarious. The Grunts are as silly and oddly aggressive as ever, and have a surprising number of lines.
Humans would never fight grunts like us! He's here!
While the Marines are far more confident and excited about joining the Chief in battle. Their commentary made exploring all the more enjoyable.
Just in the nick of time, Chief.
Just because Zeta Halo is a larger, more open sandbox doesn't mean 343 suddenly has us doing puzzles or tasks unbecoming of a genetically augmented super soldier like Master Chief. Fighting enemies and destroying their stuff is always at the center of Halo Infinite's gameplay, and whether I was taking on a roaming pack of Banished or infiltrating a fortress for a story mission, the more open nature only served to give me more options for combat. If you've had a chance to check out either of the multiplayer test flights, Halo Infinite's excellence in weaponry should come as no surprise. The campaign introduced me to other interesting weapons we've yet to see in multiplayer, like the Disruptor, a small shock pistol that doesn't do too much immediate damage, but deals out pain over time. The equipment we've seen in multiplayer unsurprisingly takes on a more powerful form in the campaign. Each of the 5 equipment options, grapple shot, shield core, threat sensor, drop wall, and thruster, can be upgraded with a collectible called Spartan Cores. Like most of the open world elements, finding the Spartan Cores and upgrading equipment is optional. Master Chief won't start the adventure with all equipment either. You'll find new tools to play with at specific story beats. Lacking a piece of equipment doesn't necessarily mean you're blocked off from certain areas from what I saw, but getting to or taking on difficult encounters might be more manageable should you have more equipment. Most of the big story beats happen in large, foreboding structures that could be viewed as something akin to dungeons. These offer a more classic Halo experience. Grunts, Jackals, Brutes, and Elites made up the bulk of the opponents I faced. Their role, weapon, and armor variety didn't feel lacking in combat. I came across one set of Brutes that were so geared up they nearly qualified as a mini boss fight. The Hunters make a return too, and are fun to fight as always. This being another ring, the Flood was alluded to, though I never saw them. The Prometheans weren't present either. 343's vision of recapturing the essence of Combat Evolved in Halo Infinite means there's not really room for them, and honestly, I had plenty of fun without them. I didn't see any drones either, so I'm hoping the new flying enemies equipped with hardlight weapons, the Skimmers, will be their replacement. The real combat stars, though, are the boss fights. The first one with the Brute Lieutenant named Termonius absolutely kicked my ass at first on heroic difficulty. A moment without movement rewarded Tremonius as he entered the encounter guns blazing and took me out twice in a row. I had been handling heroic without any issues up until that point, so I was stunned to see how Tremonius' aggression and support from 2 jackals paid off. I quickly got to work on a strategy and happily took on the challenge. I have thus far only explored a fraction of Halo Infinite, though the map isn't as large as something you'd find in an Assassin's Creed. Far from it, I'd say. What it does hold seems to offer something more curated with excellent combat at its heart. The story part is what I'm most curious about now. 343 needs to stick the landing in the plot department, especially with regard to giving us a satisfying resolution to the Chief and Cortana's relationship. If they can finally deliver that well-rounded classic Halo experience, then they'll have successfully and definitively made Halo their own. For more on Halo Infinite, check out our exclusive reveal of the new Streets multiplayer map, and stay tuned all November long for more IGN First coverage on Master Chief's latest adventure.